Pasuk says in Sefer Tehillim, you read this Pasuk every Shabbat. I think that after we finish with this Pasuk, we are going to read it very differently going forward. I think we're going to see in this Pasuk tremendous wisdom and a secret to real greatness in life, in many areas. The Pasuk says, Ma gadlu ma'asecha Hashem. David HaMelech says, Hashem, how great are your actions. Me'od ameku mahshevotecha. Your thoughts are so very deep. The first part of the Pasuk, Ma gadlu ma'asecha, means that Hashem's acts are not mediocre, they're not average, they're not just good, they're great. When Hashem does an act, it's an act of greatness. For example, when God does an act of kindness, it's a perfect kindness. How do you have a perfect kindness? When it's totally selfless. When there's nothing in it for Him. It's only to help someone. It's only for somebody else. That's a great act. Hashem's actions are great. Ma gadlu ma'asecha Hashem. How great are your actions? The second part of the Pasuk, Hashem, your thoughts are very deep. What does that mean, that Hashem's thoughts are deep? When something is deep, if you don't dig, you don't see it. You don't know what's there. Some people see on the surface only. They don't see what's under it. They dig a little bit, and they see a little more, and then a little more. Hashem's thoughts are extremely deep, which means that Hashem sees beyond and thinks beyond what we see and what we understand. The question I want to deal with today is, what is the connection between the first part of the Pasuk and the second part? Hashem's actions are great, beautiful. Hashem's thoughts are deep. He understands more than us. Great. Why are those two ideas in the same Pasuk? The greatness of God's actions and the depth of His thoughts. So I want to share with you what I think is a life-changing statement. Just like there is a connection between the height of a building and the depth of its foundation. For example, if you want to build a 30-story building, you may have to dig 30 feet under to build the foundation. But if you want to put a 100-story building, you're going to have to dig 50 feet under. And if you want to go to 150 up, you got to go maybe 60 or 70 down. The higher and taller you want your building to reach, the lower you have to dig to build your foundation. There's a connection between building and digging down to going up. The Pasuk perhaps is teaching us the following principle in life. Do you know why God's actions are not mediocre? Nobody wants to be mediocre. I've never met a person in life that wants to be just average, just regular. Never. Deep inside every one of us, we want to be great in anything we do. Hashem's acts are great. But the Pasuk is saying, do you know why Hashem's acts are great? You have any idea how they became so great? Says the Pasuk, I'll tell you. Because Hashem's thoughts are deep. Because the foundation of great acts are deep thoughts. The deeper you think, the greater are your accomplishments. Hashem's accomplishments are great because me'od ameku mahshavotecha, because your thoughts are so deep. You probably are wondering, what am I talking about? Let me give you an example. Story that happened with the Bet HaLevi, one of the great rabbis in the last few hundred years. A man came to him Erev Pesach with a question in halacha. Rabbi, would I be able to drink milk and fulfill my obligation of the Dalet Kosot? It's a very good question in halacha. What I would have done? I would have said, wait, let me open the books, or maybe I'll get back to you, come back in an hour. Let me study up the sugya. Let me see if that's possible. And I would have done a tremendous chesed for the person because he wants to know, and I'm going to help him. That's what I saw. I saw a question, and I'm going to help, and I'm going to give an answer. The Bet HaLevi tells his wife, please bring me 25 rubles to give this man. 25 rubles, if we're comparing in today's world, is thousands of dollars. He takes 25 rubles, he gives the man. The man says, I didn't come for money. I came to ask you a question, Rabbi. The rabbi says, please take the money. It's a loan. When you have, pay back. The man takes the money and goes. His wife asks him, after the man leaves, she says, I understood what just happened a little bit. I understood that you saw, if the man is asking about drinking milk for the Dalet Kosot, that means he doesn't have wine. So, you wanted to give him money for wine. But why did you have to give him so much money? Give him 2 rubles. Give him a few $100s. And he'll have enough wine for him and his family. Why just give him thousands of dollars? So the Bet HaLevi tells his wife, if a man is coming to me asking if he can use milk for the Dalet Kosot, you think he has decent food to eat for the meal? You think he has chicken? You think this man bought clothing for his children for the holiday? You know what must be his situation if he's looking to drink milk for the Dalet Kosot? What just happened here? What happened in this story? I saw a need. I saw a need for an answer to a question in halakha. The wife of the Bet HaLevi thought a little deeper. She saw, wait, it's not only a halakha. The guy must need wine. So she understood, let's give him money for wine. The Bet HaLevi saw even deeper. He said, one second, if he doesn't have wine, how many other things he may be missing? And he did a great act of chesed. What was the reason? What was behind that great act of chesed, of that famous story of the Bet HaLevi? You think we couldn't do that? Don't you think we could give people money when they need it? Of course we could. But you know what we're missing? You know what, me and you will probably not have done that? You know why? Because we would not see the need. We don't go in depth. We don't think further than what our eyes see. You see a person in school every day, imagine, he's wearing the same dirty shirt for 2 weeks. So some people say, wow, he's got a dirty shirt. Maybe I'll get him a shirt. Another person says, 1 second, if he has no shirt, who knows what he's eating at night? Maybe he has no food. There are people who don't have food. And if you dig deeper and think deeper, you may start realizing there are many more things that that person needs that you can help with. Most people will never help because not they don't want to help, because they don't see the need. They don't have me'od amku mahshevotecha. They don't go in depth to see what needs they can help someone. And because they don't see it, they don't do it. What makes Hashem's actions great is because Hashem thinks very, very deep. He looks at us and sees our needs. Even sometimes we don't see our needs. Like a child and his parents. Sometimes your parents will see a need for you. You may not see it. You went to school when you were 5 years old. It could be you don't want to go to school. It could be you still don't want to go to school. But your parents see deeper than you. And when you see deeper, you do more. And if you're not doing more, if your actions aren't great in life, it's because of one thing. Because you're not seeing the need. Because you're very surface. What you see is what you see, and you don't think more. You know, they say, and I'm sure you've heard this many times, they say our generation is a selfish generation. We only care about ourselves. We only do for ourselves. We don't care about anybody else. You've heard this, I'm sure, many times. And I want to possibly disagree with that assessment. And I want to prove it. That we're not a selfish generation, at least not in that sense, that we don't care about people. I'll prove it to you. If right now you're walking out on Coney Island Avenue and someone in front of you, even a stranger, would drop on the floor, faint, and is bleeding, and needs help because nobody's around, would you not help? Would you not stop what you're doing and call an ambulance, call a doctor, get help, call the police? Everybody in this room would do it. Do we know anybody that wouldn't stop? Probably not. Most people would stop and help. But wait, I thought we're selfish. I thought we don't care about people. That person's not going to die. It wasn't life-threatening. But you're still going to help. You're not going to just walk by when a guy falls in front of you and needs help. But aren't we selfish? Do we care about others? I guess we do. So how come we're not doing more for other people? Not because we don't care about other people. And not because we wouldn't do anything to help someone. It's not because of that. We're not selfish in that sense. You know what the real problem in our generation is? we're missing the me'od amku machshavotech. We don't have time to think about what people might need. We're so busy. We're so busy with so many things that are distracting us. Some of them good, some not good. But one underlying generational thing that's going on with us today is that we're busy. Everyone's busy. A 10-year-old's busy, a 13-year-old's busy, an 18-year-old's busy. Adults are busy, mothers are busy, fathers are busy. Everyone's busy. And you know what happens when you're busy? You don't think. And when you don't think, you don't see. And when you don't see, you obviously don't do. It's not that we're selfish, that we don't care. Perhaps selfish means that we don't think about others and their needs. That could be. So if someone would tell you, how come you don't do more for others? How come you're not a bigger Baal Hesed? Don't you know that that's one of the core principles of Judaism? Ve'afta l'reacha kamocha. Don't you know that when you leave this world, that the only thing you take with you is what you do for others? Don't you know that? Any great accomplishment that you've heard about in life was something to do with someone else. We all know that. So if someone asks you, how come your building is not going so high? Why are you not doing enough? So the answer we might say, oh, the guy's selfish. He doesn't care about people. Wrong. That's not the right answer. The right answer is you're lacking the mahshavot. You don't see the need. And when you see the need, you step right up. If someone really needs your help, you do it. The secret is to see the need. And that's what we see by the great people in our history. Abraham Avinu, we all know his greatness. But look at the Pasuk, and you tell me where that greatness came from. Because the Pasuk says, that it says, Vayisa einav vayar. He raised his eyes and he saw. Ve'ineh shlosha anashim nitzavim alav. He saw 3 men that were upon him. 3 strangers. Vayar. And he saw. Vayaros likratam. And he ran towards them. Our rabbis ask, why does it say the word Vayar twice? It says he saw 3 men. Vayar. Ve'ineh shlosha anashim. Why does it repeat Vayar and he saw? You told me he saw already. So our rabbis explain the first seeing is the one that we all have. We all see. If we have eyes and we've been blessed with eyes, we could see. We see all the time. The second Vayar is the Vayar of Abraham Avinu. It's the seeing beyond what your eyes see. It's seeing and putting yourself in that person's shoes as much as you can and thinking, if I was in that situation, what would be my need? And if there is a need, can I fulfill it? I'm traveling for days. What does a person traveling for days need? He needs not only food, but he needs someone maybe to care about him. Someone to show him love. You see a person sitting in the corner and he's lonely. That's what everybody sees. But Abraham Avinu would have a second Vayar. He would see and say, why is he that way? And what am I doing to help him? Can I do something to help him? Can I rescue him? It's not that we don't want to do. It's not that we can't do. We just don't know what to do. Because we don't see. Because we only see what our eyes see. The second Vayar we're missing. And for greatness in life, you need the extra seeing. You need the depth in your thoughts. This week's parasha Parashat Vayeishev, the turning point of Yosef's life. According to the story of the Torah, it's the reason why he became the leader of Egypt. Because when he was in jail for so many years, and two people came to jail, and he helped them, and he asked them the question when he saw they were down. He says, Madua penechem ra'im hayom. What's wrong? Why is your face down today? That's a great... People in jail, you're in jail too. But he said, I'm going to ask them. I'm going to ask them how they're feeling. I'm not sure how he could have helped them, but just asking the question is already a help. Till today, I thought that was the greatness of Yosef. That when people came to jail, he asked them, what's wrong? But after seeing this pasuk in Tehillim, maybe there's something even more than that. And it's a pasuk before. The pasuk says that when Yosef was in jail and these guys came in, Sarah Mashkim, Sarah Ofim, the pasuk says, Vayar otam. He saw them. Vehinam zo'afim. He saw there was something not right. There is that word again. Vayar. You know why Yosef asked and nobody else in jail asked? Because nobody else saw. Everyone saw two prisoners come to jail. They saw them, they said hello, and that's it. Yosef, Vayar, he looked. He looked to see, is there something wrong here that I can help with? That's the introduction to what Yosef asked them. He saw the need. He was Amku Mahshevotecha. The greatness of Yosef, Vayar. The greatness of Abraham, Vayar. And the greatest man that ever lived, Moshe Rabbeinu. We don't know much about his life, his early life. But Torah says a few small stories. And it begins by telling us how Moshe Rabbeinu Vayigdal, he became, like Rashi says, he became promoted in the eyes of Paro, in the house of Paro. Remember, he was a prince. He had all the money in the world. He had all the power in the world. He had it all. Moshe was living the dream life. He had everything. The pasuk says, Vayetze el Ehav. With all that comfort and all that wealth and all that power, he went out to his brothers to help them. Would you do that? What do you think? You have everything you want in life and you're comfortable and happy and successful, but you have your family, you have your cousins, you have your distant relatives. They need help. Would you help them? I'm not sure what you would answer. But I'll tell you that Moshe helped. Vayetze, he left his palace. He left his comfort. He went out to help. I think we would see that as a great act. One that I'm not sure that I would do. But you know what the Torah says? You know why? Do you know why he was able to do it? And maybe you were not able to do it? Why was Moshe able to go out and help and leave his comfort zone? Why? Says the pasuk. Here's that word again. Vayar besivlotam. Moshe saw their needs. He saw their suffering. If we would see someone suffering, we also would help. I proved it to you. If someone's in the street, is calling out for help, we would help. We wouldn't even ask their name. They don't have to be a cousin or a brother or a relative. We would help because we know that it's important and it's our greatness to help people. Moshe Rabbeinu, all he did is help. That's all he did. We would do the same thing. But you know what we would be missing? Vayar. We wouldn't see the need and we wouldn't see how we can fulfill that need. We would say, okay, there are people suffering. What does that have to do with me? What am I going to do? No. Moshe Rabbeinu put himself in their shoes. And when you're in somebody else's shoes, you start seeing what could be done to help you. And once you know someone needs you, and you know what you can do to help them, believe me, you'll be the first one out of the palace. The greatness of Moshe Rabbeinu is not that he left the palace. We would all leave the palace. We would all stop to help somebody. Moshe Rabbeinu's greatness is Vayar b'sivotam. He saw. He put himself in their shoes. And he asked himself, if I was them, what would I need? And then he asked, maybe I could do it. This is a recurring theme by all great people. The Pasuk says, when you lend money to someone, when you lend money to someone poor, the Pasuk says, Im kesef talve et ami, when someone comes to you for a loan, et he'ani imach, the poor man with you. What does that mean, the poor man with you? What is with you? Rashi says, when a poor man comes to you, heve mistakel be'atzmecha, look at yourself, ke'ilu ata'ani. Before you give someone charity, or before you think about giving someone charity, or before you think about giving a loan, or before you think about helping someone, aimach, look at yourself in his shoes. Try to feel what it's like not to have food in your refrigerator. Try to think what it's like not to have a shirt to wear. Because if you don't have the vayar, if you don't have that part, you're not going to want to help. It's not because you're cheap that you don't give charity. It's because you don't see. That's why the Gemara in Ketubot says, an unbelievable Gemara. The Gemara says that a person who doesn't give charity is compared to an idol worship. But it's interesting because the Gemara's words aren't someone who doesn't give charity. You know what the words of the Gemara say? Kol ha'ma'alim einav min tzedakah. Anyone who closes his eyes from charity. When you don't give charity, you don't close your eyes. Maybe you close your pockets. Why does it say Hama'alim einav? Someone who looks away. Someone who doesn't see with his eyes. Is that why I don't give charity? I thought I don't give charity because I like my money and I don't want to part with it. Isn't that why? Says the Gemara, no, it's not why. That's what it looks like. That's not what it is. It's because you don't see what that person needs. You don't feel what that person needs. You don't feel his pain. Because if your eyes saw, if you had vayar and you saw what that person really needs and you understood how he really felt, you would give money no matter who you are. We could all be Moshe Rabbeinu's. We could all be Yosef. We could all be Abraham. But you got to see. And if you close your eyes, you're not going to see. And if you don't see, you're not going to do. Like I mentioned, the Yetzirah of our generation is not that we don't care about people. It's we just don't have time to think. We must give ourselves time to think. Both when we see people, look at them. When you see somebody, look at them. Even for a second. Don't walk by people that you see, especially the ones close to you. At some point, when people become so close to you, like your mother and your father and your brothers and sisters, and your wife and your children, when people become so familiar, you know what happens? They become like furniture. You see a chair, you see a table, you see your mother. When you see your mother, look for 1 second. Think for 1 second. If I was my mother, what would I need right now? Let me ask you a question. If I would tell you right now, that your mother is craving her son to tell her, Mom, thank you so much. I know how hard you work. I know what you do for me. I know how much you think about me. I know I'm not easy sometimes. I just want to thank you. If I would tell you that your mother is craving for that, and you would make not only her day, you'd make her month if you would tell her that tonight. If you would tell your mother tonight that, you would make her month. She's waiting. She's suffering because of that. Would you not do it? Would you not do that if your mother was waiting for you? So how come you don't do it? How come maybe you haven't done it? Why? If I told you your little brother, he needs so much right now, his older brother, to give him a pat on the back and say, by the way, you're a special young man. You're a special brother. He just needs that word from you. He needs it so much. He's suffering. You're going to help him. He needs it. Would you not do it? Would you not give him a pat on the back? Who wouldn't do that? Everybody would do it. Every single person here would do it. So why are you not doing it? You know why? Because you don't see. Because you don't see what your mother needs. You don't see what your father needs. You don't see what your brother needs. You don't see what your wife needs. You don't see what your children need. Because if you would see, you would become great. We're so busy. We come home and we go straight to the table to eat. What's for dinner? We're so busy, we go straight to our room. We're so busy. We walk by people and we don't hardly notice them. We say Shabbat Shalom to someone and we're on the third guy already before the guy even answered us. We don't have the patience to give someone just a look. And the consequences are terrible. How are we going to have Vayar if we don't look at people? If we don't give them the time of day? If we don't think about someone? How's that going to happen? How are we going to have great marriages if we don't think about our wives' needs? You think one day you're going to wake up and magically become that person? There are people in your room, there are people in your house, there are people in your circles that need you. A little smile could make someone's day. An older person comes to a younger person and give him a little pat in the back. It can make his month. Are you thinking about that? Are you thinking about all the people that you can affect? Are you seeing how many people are reaching their hands out, not for money, but for kavod? They want a little kavod, a little respect, a little recognition. Who here doesn't need recognition? Who here doesn't crave recognition? Who here doesn't feel great when someone says something good about them? You have a building full of people begging for attention, begging for a little recognition, screaming for it. If you just looked, if you just saw. You can't be great, I can be. Of course we can. Just think. The pasuk says, the midrash says on a pasuk in Mishle, you know who's a person? Will yo'atzeh shalom simcha, says Shlomo HaMelech. Those who have advice of peace, they will have simcha. The midrash explains, what does that mean? Advice of peace. The midrash says it's talking about a person who's sitting on his bed at night and he's thinking, what can I do tomorrow for my friend? He goes to sleep at night thinking, I have a bunch of friends. What can I do tomorrow for Yosef? What can I do tomorrow for Eliyahu? What can I do tomorrow for any one of my friends? You gotta think. If you don't think, if you don't give yourself time to think, you're never going to reach greatness. It's as simple as that. Like I mentioned, the first place to start is at home. The first place to start is the people close to you, your close friends, your close family. Don't let tonight go by without showing tremendous appreciation to your father and mother. Put yourself in her shoes. Try to be a mother for a day. All day long worrying about your kids, cooking for them, buying for them, worrying about them. Would you not want your son to come home and say thanks? Would you not want a little more than a thank you? Maybe describe a little more? Would it not make you happy? Don't let tonight go by without giving your brother a little pat on the back. Don't let the night go by without seeing someone in shul and giving him a big smile. Say, it's great to see you. He needs it. Just know he needs it. Think about how much people need us. Think how powerful we are. We think we're nobody sometimes. You know how powerful we are? A little pat on the back, a little smile, a little word. You know how powerful each person in this room is? But me, I'm not powerful. I'm not a gadol. Hashem is a gadol. You're a gadol. You just need me'od amku mahshevotecha. You need to think. You need to put yourself in people's shoes for a second, and you're there. You will become transformed into a great person. Rav Chaim, Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, was the chief rabbi of Yerushalayim. His house was in the old city. His house was like a public thoroughfare. People coming in all day long, berachot, questions. On Sukkot, on the holidays especially, his house was especially packed. Tons of people walking in. Everyone's got to get a bracha on Hag Sukkot from the rabbi. And you can imagine thousands of people walking in and out to his house. And all of a sudden, another rabbi from Yerushalayim, a little bit far away from his house, comes to visit him. And he sits there for a half hour. And during that half hour, they noticed that every guy that would come in to visit the rabbi during that half hour, the rabbi would say, oh wow, you're going to the Kotel. Wow, beautiful, thank you for coming by. Next guy, oh, you're coming back from the Kotel. That's beautiful, thank you for coming by. Oh, you're going to the Kotel, how was it? Or all questions that had to do with the Kotel. For a half hour, every guy, he mentioned the Kotel to them. They didn't say, well, maybe he lost his mind. That night they asked him, right, what happened? That half hour, every guy you mentioned the Kotel to them. What's going on? You know what the rabbi said? He told them, you know, that great rabbi was by me. I don't know if he has so many people coming to his house. I have no idea. And it could be while he's sitting there and seeing these thousands of people coming in, I don't know how he would be feeling. Maybe he'd be feeling down. So I made sure to mention the Kotel to every guy, because that shows that my house is easy. It's on the way to the Kotel. If his house was also on the way to the Kotel, then go to him too. Would we not do that? Is that such a great story? Could we not do that? Of course we could. But we wouldn't see. We wouldn't notice. We wouldn't realize. Great story with Rav Hutner, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. I mentioned the story once before. It's an unbelievable story about one of the students who was married for so many years and couldn't have a child. Constantly talking to the rabbi, giving him hizuk, questions in halacha, questions in hashkafa. Years and years and years, no child. So painful for a couple. And finally, his wife was pregnant and they had a child. The first person he called from the hospital was Rav Hutner, his Rabbi, who spent so many days with him, so many hours with him, to share the beautiful news. And the rabbi picked up the phone and the student says, Rabbi, we had a baby. And the rabbi says, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you now. Please call me back in 15 minutes. And the man was so broken, No mazel tov, no wow, no great, I'm so happy. Nothing. You know how painful that is? When someone doesn't feel your simha, especially someone that you care about. He couldn't believe it. He calls back the rabbi 15 minutes later, and the rabbi right away said, I know you're probably upset. Why I didn't say, I wasn't excited on the phone. Why I didn't say anything. Let me explain to you. When you called, there was a couple in front of me who was having a very hard time bringing children into this world. I was about to tell you Mazel Tov, and then I realized, 1 second, how would they feel if I would tell you Mazel Tov? How much pain would I cause them? So I figured it's better to cause you 15 minutes of pain than causing them years of pain. Could we not do that? We couldn't do that? Right now, if this happened to you, would you not do that? Of course you'd do it. How come we don't do it? Why are we not so sensitive like that? Because we don't see. Because we're not thinking about the other person. Me'od amku machshevotecha is the yesod to greatness ben adam lahavero. You want to be great, you want to do for people, you want to be Moshe Rabbeinu, you want to be Yosef, you want to be Abraham, you want to be anyone who's great. It's all within us, we can all do it. We just need Vayar. Vayar besivlotam, Vayar veinam zoafim, Vayar. You just got to look, you just got to see. This extends not only to relationships between us and man, it also with ourselves. We have greatness within us, but not until we realize what we're missing. The same way you can't help someone until you know what he is missing. You can't help yourself until you know what you're missing. If you go to a big yeshiva of tzaddikim and you go on Yom Kippur, you will find the place is crying. They're crying about their averot, they're crying. And then you go down the block to some reform temple on Yom Kippur, and the place is buzzing with simha. Nobody's crying, everyone's relaxed. They have their sidurim open, no problem, everything's good. And he said, what's going on here? The guy in yeshiva is learning his whole life. He's sitting on Yom Kippur crying. And the guy who hasn't kept the mitzvah the whole year, he's so sameach on Yom Kippur. How could that be? The answer is simple. When you're in yeshiva, you're constantly looking about what you are missing. You're constantly thinking what your needs are. I got too angry. My ta'avot are taking me over. I'm not learning enough. I'm not reviewing enough. When you're in yeshiva, you're thinking constantly about what you're missing. And that makes you greater because you reach higher. But if you don't think about what you're missing, you think you're perfect. You think you're perfect. So not only when it comes to others, me'od amku machshevotecha is important. Not only when it comes to seeing the needs of somebody else is the ticket to my greatness. The ticket to my own greatness with myself. I have to spend time thinking about myself. Every night, take 2-3 minutes. It's so easy. Every night, 2-3 minutes. Sit down with a little notebook. 2-3 minutes. And just write down some of the things that you did that day that you would rather have not done. I got angry here. I wish I didn't do that. I said the wrong thing here. I wish I could have said a nice word here. I wish I didn't do that here. Just write them down. The next day, you'll be better. Your ma'asim will be greater because you'll be aware of yourself. Ma gadlu ma'asecha Hashem. Hashem, your actions are so great. Why? Because me'od amku ma'ashevotecha. Because your thoughts are so deep. That's the ticket to our greatness as well. Shabbat shalom.